Hello and welcome to Redefining Real Estate. This is where we talk about buying a home, we talk about owning a home, and we talk about the importance of selling a home and how all three of those work together. So super excited today. Have some great people, some of my favorite people. One, Lyndon Wilson, has been a fantastic friend of mine for a number of years, as well as co-hosting and also hosting The Difference, which is awesome. And one of my great friends, Julie Altimus, with Super Home Warranty. So want to welcome them today and just encourage you to share the show, make comments, ask questions, because we have a lot of good information that's going to help you along the way.
Hello, Brian.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am great.
Hello, Julie. How are you
Hello,
doing?
good morning. Hey,
Julie's
Brian.
coming in here. She might have got delayed because of the weather.
No, Julie's in. Can you not see Julie?
I think it's delay on my side. I think I have a 10-minute pause for station identification or whatever. So, but anyway, how are you doing this morning, Julie?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good
and I'm
deal.
so happy to be next to my fire and my space heater right here in my office. So I got it going on.
You know what? This working from home brings kind of a new dynamic to us. I mean, especially if you've been working for remote for years, then this really hasn't affected your life a lot, hopefully. But if you have not been working from home, this is quite the change, and you have to adapt and become flexible and move that space heater probably a little bit closer, rearrange your desk a little bit, move some curtains or whatever. We had Lyndon the other day. We had our show, and it was really funny. It was a pre-show, and what you guys don't see is the pre-show bloopers, which I think are absolutely hysterical. I had a guest on, and they had the green screen, and they had just set it up. Well, the green screen was like it was like a shower curtain rod on. It was right behind the chair. Loved it, and they couldn't get it straight, so they turned around and they just pushed the whole mechanism down, and it just fell. So the background was fine, just as is, but I want to tell you this working from home is quite the challenge, and it brings up some really, really comical things. So hopefully, during this COVID pandemic and crisis, whatever you want to categorize it as, we can actually have some humor and some comedy, and it doesn't have to be as heavy and hopeless as it could be. It could just be fun and lighthearted, and we can enjoy friendships. And I'm just going to feel the warmth by your fire, Julie, because I don't have a space heater or a fireplace in my office. And Lyndon, you look all bundled up in your Arkansas gig.
Oh, it's not Arkansas. This is actually Space Needle out of Seattle. So
it could just be fun and lighthearted, and we can enjoy friendships. And I'm just going to feel the warmth by your fire, Julie, because I don't have a space heater.
Yeah, somebody's got some feedback going somewhere.
And Lyndon, you look all bundled up in your Arkansas gig.
Oh, it's not Arkansas. This is actually Space Needle out of Seattle. So who's running feedback?
Julie's doing the okay. She was right. She was trying to get on the show twice, and that's the deal. And Julie, thumbs up to that effort, and that's brilliant. Julie wanted to be on the show twice, so she decided to run a watch party and a live party at the same time.
Right.
And that's fantastic. So let's dive into this today, and guys, I again, two of my favorite people to talk to and to have this. So we'll have more fellowship than we might have talking. But when we look at redefining real estate, is there an importance, or is there maybe a change, or maybe a different way we should look at buying a home. When we're looking at buying, and we talk about it, it's one of the largest investments or purchases that a person will make. We go and we talk to lenders and we get the top dollar of what we can afford. We get the top dollar of what our payment's going to be like. But when I look at it, I have some different opinions on the importance, or I have some other things that are extremely important, in my opinion, on buying a house. So I'm going to go to you, Julie. In your personal experience, you purchased a home, you have a home. Would you buy differently if you had the knowledge that you have today? Would you buy differently, or would you buy the same?
Gosh, that's a hard question. Now this is going to surprise you, but I think 5 years ago when I bought this home, I bought perfectly.
Okay.
Because I needed this house to fit the needs of us at the time, which was a certain school district, a certain amount of square footage outside. Most people go for the square footage inside, but because I'm married to a contractor, I had to have an 18-wheeler in my driveway at all times, full of tools. So, but if I wasn't boxed in that way, where I had to have that space in that school district, I think I would have bought differently, because the mindset that I have today is more about real estate investing, and I didn't have that mindset 5 years ago.
What changed? Because that's great. What changed and brought you to the investing aspect versus just the live in with the 18-wheeler with a lot of tools and a shed out back? And I love Thomas, by the way. That's fantastic. But you just kind of made him out to be a contractor that's riding around an 18-wheeler with tools and parking in your front yard. And it's just funny.
Well, it's an exaggeration of the trailer that sits in my driveway, but it's so large. But, he's got to have everything housed that he needs, in one. So you asked me what changed. I'm just going to be really honest. A few gray hairs on my head, and deciding that, hey, I need to get wiser about my investments. I can't leave everything in a mutual fund, and you're going to laugh, but I bought Apple stock like 30 years ago, and I still have it. And I'm only invested in mutual funds and stocks. And so I'm just getting to that age now where I'm starting to think more in my future. I have to admit, I had my head in the sand years before because I was married to somebody different who was a financial guru, and he handled everything, and I knew nothing. Literally, I knew nothing. I was taking care of the children. I was being a stay-at-home mom. I was homeschooling them. I was doing my part. He was doing his part. The unfortunate thing was I didn't know what I didn't know. And here I am at this stage in my life now where it's really important to know what I did not know. And so I find myself listening to YouTube videos and podcasts and all kinds of things, trying to figure out how I can increase my wealth so that I can retire before I'm 85 years old with a little bit of nest egg here where I'm not only invested in stocks and mutual funds. So that's the honest truth. This is the point where I'm at in my life.
That's fantastic. Lyndon, what do you have to say on that?
I think that, if you're being made aware of the opportunities and possibilities in buying a home, and Brian, we had this discussion, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago about having an exit strategy. I'm not sure that a lot of people have an exit strategy when they buy the house. They have the entrance strategy. That, our number one goal is let's get the keys and get the mover backed up to the door, and the problem's over, right? And it's not that it creates another problem not having an exit strategy. It's just that what I've come to realize is that we leave a lot of money on the table if we don't have an exit strategy and a plan. Now, does that mean if I set up and say I'm going to move in 5 years based on the equity I'm going to have built in my home, does that mean I have to move in 5 years? No. But if I have managed that 5 years to get the most equity I can, I'm still ahead. And
Correct.
so, the other thing that we talked about that I think that so many of us have missed is the cheaper we can own a home, not buy a home, own a home, the more equity and the more value we can put into that home. We can build into it and increase our equity. And I think that that's some things that, especially for first-time home buyers, they come out of living in an apartment or something like that where, the grass is mowed, the irrigation system, the sprinkler system is everything's taken care of. It's done for you. And so now we get into a home and we have all of these expenses, and there's not, for a lot of us, there's no, I'm not going to say there's no way, but sometimes we don't realize there are ways to figure out if we're spending more than what we should.
Absolutely. So, and Julie, I can attest to the few gray hairs and not just not knowing, I bought numerous houses, and I actually bought them through using, a family member to help me buy and sell the homes, and they didn't throw anything out on the table. And again, no harm, no foul, no finger pointing here. It was my responsibility to ask the questions, and I didn't have the questions to ask.
But if you don't know that's what I was going to say. If you don't know the questions to ask, you can't ask a question.
You're exactly right. So hence the fact that now we're all three here, and we look at stocks, bonds, mutual funds, IRAs. We look at that investing strategy, and that's been there for years. But real estate's been there for years as well. If you're looking at just your personal real estate. So if I looked at it from an investing lens, that I'm investing in myself, I'm investing in my future, then would I buy differently? And I can put both hands up all at once with a big, loud, resounding yes, and say, you know what, I would have purchased different when I bought my first home. I just would have, because the equity, the improvements, the neighborhood, every single thing mattered in that. So we don't look at it often as an opportunity. We look at it as, hey, listen, I have 17 children. I really don't. I only have 5, but I have numerous children. I need to fit them all into rooms, and bunk beds are just not the option for us. So we're going to build that house big enough to do that, or we're going to have that backyard, or we're going to have that humongous driveway for the trailer that houses all the tools, Julie. So there's, when we open up our eyes to investing, we open up our eyes. It's really just opening up your eyes to looking at, when you purchase a house, are you purchasing it with investing in mind? And a lot of times we think about investing, we think about fix and flip, right? Nothing wrong with that. Buying a distressed property, fixing it up, and selling it. There's nothing wrong with that. We also think about investing as buying something and renting it out and holding it. Again, another strategy there. But how often do we as homeowners look at something that we are buying as an investment property?
Does it always, but let me ask this, does it always have to be with the investment thought in mind? I mean, what about the person that may not have an investment strategy? They may need one, but just think of it from this perspective. If I buy a house, my first house, starter home, $200,000, and my mortgage is somewhere around $1,800, and I can own that house properly and sell it with the right equity and upgrade, but my mortgage not go up in my next house. And I could continue to do that over 5 homes over the next 30 years. And my mortgage never go up. I don't think a lot of people understand that that's a possibility. That your last home could be the same or less per month than what your first home was.
Okay, so, and you asked me, the word invest, and I think this is really important. And Julie, I'd like you to chime in on this as well. When I look at invest, because let's just go with the coaching background and what I do. So if I tell you to invest in yourself, it's for you to experience growth, whether it's growth in your mindset, growth in your income, whether it's growth in your business, whether it's growth in, we invest in ourselves. We hit the gym. We want to grow muscles, or we want to look a little bit better, or we want to be healthier, or whatever it is. I look at that term invest as more of a growth terminology versus just a true definitive invest is I throw $10 into this bucket and I'm hoping for a return on my investment. So that's and maybe we're arguing over semantics there, but that's the term that I'm using. It's always about how can I grow, even personally, buying this house, exactly what you said, Lyndon, at $200,000 or $250,000, and then my next moves in my next 5 years or my next 10 years or the course of 5 houses that I have reaped an amazing return. Strategy.
It is strategy, but it's also, I think, and we've talked a lot on the show about mindset. I think that a lot of first-time home buyers come out with a renter's mindset, and a mortgage is nothing more than a lease payment in their mind, right? You don't get anything back when you lease an apartment or you lease a condo or you lease a home. You get nothing back. So I think that a lot of people have that same understanding and expectation that there's so many different ways, like you said, Brian, to invest in yourself, in your future, in your growth, and in your family, that I think the number one thing that in redefining real estate, I was never explained that. It sounds like, Brian, that you weren't either, that it wasn't explained to us the difference in owning versus renting. And the opportunities in owning. It doesn't have to be necessarily just a debt. As you said, it can be an investment. And when we're talking about investment, we're also talking about the type of relationships that we get into going into buying this home that allow us to own it at a less expensive cost than what it would if we didn't know anybody and I'm hiring all the wrong people to fix all the things that, number one, I might have been able to fix myself. Number two, if I'd have had the right person like Julie that has home warranty and maybe some things could have been fixed in a different way. So those are things that I wasn't explained the first time I ever bought one.
Right. Absolutely. And we're Julie, I'm going to talk the whole time if I don't ask you. Just what are your comments on that side as far as, were we taught that it's just the largest purchase that we'll ever make and here's your mortgage payment, you just need to make that every month? Or, was that what you were taught, or how do you look at it now? Go kind of help me on that one.
I completely agree with Lyndon that a lot of people they don't have the understanding that, when you buy this first house, it's not a renter's mentality. You've now made a huge investment that's going to grow. Certainly the longer you hold it, in most cases, the longer that it appreciates. And so you gain things from being a homeowner. Yes, there are expenses to being a homeowner. I'll never forget, there was an agent recently that received a comment from her client that said, I wish I could return this house, because she didn't understand that when you become a homeowner, you take over the responsibility of the repairs, right, and the costs that are associated with the house. There are certainly ways that you can save yourself money. And to Lyndon's point, he was talking about partnering with a good home warranty company. Listen, there are many different cars. They all have 4 wheels and a steering wheel, and they will get you places, but they don't all have the same features and the same capabilities. This is the same with home warranty. People don't understand this because, just like being a first-time home buyer and having the renter mentality versus ownership mentality, they don't understand that all home warranty companies are not alike. They're not. And they don't all cover the same things, and they don't all cover with the same amounts per item that is covered in the house. And so let me give you an example. If somebody has to replace an entire air conditioning system, which is probably the number one concern of every homeowner that I ever speak to. They're like, hey, I'm buying this house, but I'm really afraid of the fact that the air conditioning system is 20 years old. What do I do? What does your company cover? Because they don't want to move in and be out of pocket, $7,000 or $10,000. So a lot of home warranty companies will give you a set amount each year, and some of them are $2,500 a year. Some of them, like Super, is unlimited for the year, so there is no cap. This makes a huge difference because even if you have a home warranty that covers at $2,500 on an annual basis for an air conditioning unit, you are still going to pay out of pocket thousands of dollars, and that's going to hurt. Nobody wants to shell out $6,000 for an AC unit. So I think doing a little bit of homework and finding out, somebody else, I was reading a Facebook post this morning, was saving massive amounts of money on his electricity and his smart home devices and his Nest and everything else that he had connected. And he said, I know this is kind of public, and he posted his wattage, on there showing that he was paying like 1.9 cents. I mean, that's amazing. There are many different ways that you can save yourself money on a monthly and an annual basis and still protect your investment.
Okay, so you guys have both gone into owning a home, and we were talking about buying homes. So we're going to just move right along to the owning side, because Julie, great points in one, home warranty, but what have you learned about owning a home that does save you time and it saves you money? So not the renting side of it, but you actually own a home because it's an investment. It's going to make you money if you, with the appreciation principal reduction, you have your equity already in your house, hopefully, and you're continuing to accumulate that through various ways. Owning a home, so home warranty, I am absolutely a number one fan of home warranties because they cover, because they, and I want you, because you're the expert, to tell me what other things they cover. So they cover the HVAC system. Yours does. Not every home warranty is the same, and I agree with that. So that's going to be important. What else do they cover, Julie, that would be important?
So they're going to cover systems and appliances, and systems and appliances only. So here's another myth, because a lot of folks will think that home warranty companies are going to cover their roof or their gates or their fences or their slab leaks, and that's not true. Home warranty companies specifically focus on appliances and systems. So the top two claims that home warranty companies have across the board is air conditioning and appliances. So it's important that you've got adequate coverage in both of those areas. So like I was saying, not every home warranty company is alike. Having adequate coverage in those two specific areas are going to save you the most amount of money. Do you want a company that is going to cash you out on a motor on the dishwasher because they can't get that part anymore, so all they're going to pay you is $200 for a part? Or do you want a company that's going to give you the full cash out for what that dishwasher is worth? This is where you have to go looking in the terms and conditions. And I laugh about this because I would have never read terms and conditions before I worked for Super, thinking it was all like Apple agreements. Nothing against Apple. I own everything Apple. Nobody wants to read terms and conditions in those agreements. But this is where it's really important for you to know. And I promise if you read most home warranty terms of coverage agreements, they'll take you less than 10 minutes to read it. But it's important information for you to know. You want to know what you're contractually entering into with this home warranty company to see if this is the best value for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So systems, we're talking about electrical, plumbing, right?
That's right. Air conditioning, heating, plumbing, electrical, ductwork, sprinklers and timers, things that go wrong with your garage doors. I like to say everything under the roof of the house, but there are a few exceptions like sprinklers and timers I named and garage door. But most everything under the roof is what we're going to cover.
And you also have some ancillary things. So it's such as pool or pool equipment. There are certain things that you you guys add in your basically an umbrella coverage. So basically, your home warranty is an insurance supposedly to certain things, your appliances, your systems, occasionally a pool, some ancillary things or accessories that you would add on the inside of the house. The outside of the house, such as the roof and the slab, that's going to require a different kind of insurance and protection and warranty on that side. So home ownership is really important, but it's important to know that there are services out there that will help you save time and money, correct?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I can speak to super here specifically. Super stands for superintendent. That's where the name comes from. But we don't use that word here in the South. We might say landlord, but on the East Coast, they call it a super. I've got a super. You probably heard, oh, I can't think of that guy's name. It was JJ. I remember that, but I can't remember that real old show. But anyway, he used to laugh all the time and say, I got a super on his house. So, our company is own your house like a renter. That's the principle and the tagline behind super. So that when you do have those failures and you do have those challenges where you need something done inside the house, you call your super and they come out and handle everything for you. Not every home warranty company is like that. Oftentimes home warranty companies will say, well, here's our list of providers and you need a plumber, go call them. And then what happens is, because that plumbing company finds out it's a warranty call, the customer is often pushed down to the bottom of the list because it's not a retail call. So that's another important factor to find out when you're looking for a good home warranty company. What's important to you? I think that's the question of the day. Do you have high-end appliances? Do you have a pool, a septic, a guest house? Do you have some, like Brian was saying, ancillary things, some extra things around the home that you need covered? And is your house brand new? Are you as concerned about an air conditioning unit as, say, a 20-year-old house? And so those are all things to look at that should determine your decision.
So, and thanks for that. So, Lyndon, when we're owning a home, upkeep, maintenance, just everyday things that we should be aware of. What's your take on that?
I think that, I love what Julie said about the super. I actually have some relatives from New York, so I used to hear that a lot, often, about the super, the building super and all that, and I had no idea what they were talking about back then. But I do think that, Brian, in the redefining real estate realm of what you are working to accomplish and the people that you're working to put together as a network, as a resource for the people that are buying or selling homes with you and with your team, I think that that's critical, because I don't think that we understand. I mean, Julie talked about all the things under the roof, but your expenses are not limited there. Okay. You do have the roof, you do have the pool, you do have yard maintenance. You've got your sprinkler irrigation system. There are so many things that we don't think about. We think about the mortgage when we're getting ready to buy. We think about, can I afford the mortgage? Can I afford the taxes? Can I afford the insurance? Okay, then I can afford this house. Until it's 122 degrees in the summer and the air conditioner goes out and you don't have a warranty, or you don't have the right warranty. Now what do you do? And so I think that those are where we need to be understanding and educated. And I do think that it is the responsibility. It's a shared responsibility, but I think that the professionals need to make the consumer aware of the things that they need. And I think that if we can take time, because I know we all just want to buy that house, right? I want to buy the house. I want to buy the house. I hired you, Brian. Take care of it. Just give me the keys and let me get moved in, and then I'll figure it all out later. And most of us do. We figure it out later. It's an expensive education. Yeah. And then what we don't realize is that extra $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 Julie's talking about. Had I not had to pay for all of that, had I been able to do something to mitigate the impact, that's money that could have gone towards the equity in my home in a different way.
Yeah.
And those, that to me, that's really redefining. It's redefining real estate, is redefining the understanding, Brian, of how you put it, how to buy and save money, how to own and save money, and how to sell and make money. Those
Right.
are the things. Those are the things that we need to understand, not just how to get approved. Because for most people, I know it was for me, if I can get approved, I'm a homeowner. Bingo.
Mhm.
Now what?
Right.
And it's a painful lesson.
It is, and it's a great experience to become a homeowner. Absolutely, I want more people to experience it. I want more people to experience it with the knowledge that I have today moving forward versus the knowledge when I first got into it as a homeowner, because I didn't know either. I mean, as far as maintenance and upkeep, and you know, when you drive down your neighborhood, you know the lawns and the yards and the house that looks really nice. You're like, oh my gosh, that's beautiful, and your eye gravitates to that. And when everybody understands home ownership, and we can understand home ownership, it's having that, and the best way I can describe it is having that curb appeal, that you have pride of home ownership, that you do water your yard, you do mow your lawn, you do take care of the fence, and you know the trees are trimmed. It's a added responsibility, but that added responsibility, if we look at it from an investment lens, it's the added responsibility that protects my asset, which is your home, and it also protects the equity that your asset is generating. So through principal reduction, you're paying your payments, through the appreciation, if your market is appreciating and you're benefiting from that, then you're building that equity. But taking care of that home, it sells better, it presents better, it feels better. It's just I love it now. And the reason I love it is because now I have a whole new view, or a lens, a holistic approach, that it's not just stocks, bonds, IRA, and 401k that I'm investing in, but I'm also investing in my life and investing in how do I become a better homeowner, saving me time, saving me money, and making it a lot better experience.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So one of the reasons that we and Julie, you'll soon be in our seminars as well. But one of the reasons that we're doing our seminars, Wealth and Real Estate, under the Educated Buyer, Educated Seller series, is to teach home buyers, to teach people how to sell and how to buy, and how to get connected to the right service provider. So now you can come in and meet the CPA, the financial planner. You can come in and meet the property management person. You can meet the home warranty person, the title person, the lender, the insurance, the inspector, all in one gathering, and hear from them directly, and then be able to piecemeal this for you to make it applicable in your situation or circumstance. And that's what I love about it, Lyndon. And you made reference to it, that we are building that network. We're building that strategic alliance partnership, that we are introducing them to the consumer and the consumer to them directly, where it's not just a card passed in there, or why don't you go find a plumber? I don't know if you've ever been told to go find a service technician. Do you know how hard it is to do it? It's an arduous process. They don't know you from Adam. You don't know them from Adam, and you're scrolling. And you cross your fingers, you hope and pray that you're going to find somebody that is going to give you a fair deal.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly why I like Super. Because that work has been done for you already. You know, finding the plumbers and the electricians, and it's not an easy process to to partnership with these companies either, especially as it pertains to super. So to your point, I was doing that yesterday, looking for a gate repair company. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is horrible, because I had to go on, the common search engine, and go look for somebody to repair my wooden gate. I can't physically open the gate because it's a huge gate. So I've been stuck in the house all day long when there's no teenagers or husband around to open the gate. I tried to go somewhere yesterday with my purse on my shoulder, and I was like, oh yeah, I can't get out of the gate. So going on Google, searching for those gate companies, I was like, you don't know whether to trust those reviews. And I will tell you, Google reviews are better than some of the other sites that you might go to, because those sites are paid ads, and they're paid to be there, and they're paid to get stars. It's unfortunate because all the rest of the people who are gullible believe that those are true and worthy ratings, and they aren't. So to your point, Brian, that's a great one. It's not easy to find contractors to come to the house and to perform services that you need.
Right. And case in point, I mean, I'm in the industry, so I make a call for one of my homeowners, schedule the appointment with a technician, and I get called the day of the appointment. Brian, I've had 3 emergencies come up with other people, and I'd like to reschedule our appointment. So to be put on hold because you're a normal person and you made a normal appointment and you get bumped because of an emergency, I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Why do I get penalized? And I'm in the industry. Why do I get penalized because somebody else had an emergency, 3 other people, and how it came up to 3, I have no clue, but whatever. Do you think I'm going to call that person back? Not a lot, because I don't want to be bumped again. I mean, because my time is valuable. Your time is valuable. The homeowner's time is valuable. So that's why we're putting these people together that want to educate. They want to inform. They want to do a good service. They provide a great service. And we just want people to meet them. So they at least have some point of reference on what should they ask, because a lot of times we don't know what to ask if we don't know. We just don't know what we don't know. So, Lyndon, what are your comments on that?
I've always been, Brian, you know this, I've always been big on the network, the connections, what I call guerrilla marketing, where I don't have $1,000 a month advertising budget, but I can go out and I can make connections, I can make friends, and I can put together a team of people that's going to be accountable and responsible to each other, not just the client. And I think that's where the elevation of service comes in play. When that guy, you're probably not going to go on and give a bad review. He's never met you, right? You don't know him you're just going to move on. He's probably got a lot of business, good for him. But if this was someone within your network, you are a VIP to them. Therefore, your client is a VIP to them as well. And I think you get more of the VIP service when everybody, because here's the thing, if you and Julie and I and all the people that we know, the people that are in your network, if we're meeting up on a monthly basis, talking about how we've served the community this month, how we intend to serve the community together next month, there's an accountability there. I don't want to walk in there and see you and Julie in the corner whispering about me canceling 3 appointments because I had something else I needed to do. Right? That's not going to keep me in good favor very long. And so I think that when we build those networks, then the client, the consumer, the customer can feel confident that there's a certain integrity that goes along with that for the group and for not only how we're serving the client, but how we're performing for the people that are referring business to us.
Yeah. One of the things that I've liked about this that is redefining for me is being able to introduce my network of providers, service providers, professionals in the industry directly to home prospects or people that I've never met before. I loved being able to do that. And the reason I enjoy so much, Lyndon and Julie, is because birds of a feather flock together. And if I know that I have some amazing people around me, it just again gives me more credibility in the marketplace that I'm hanging out with some really reputable people. And that's important to me. It's important to my brand. It's important to what I do. It's important for us moving forward. And I know that those clients, the people that choose to use me or they choose not to, they will always be taken care of. And that's the great thing. They're hopefully they're not going to be bumped because of 3 emergencies. And I know that things like that happen. And no harm, no foul. But you want to feel important. And that's the great thing about it. You just don't want to feel like, well, I'm going to give you these business cards, and I need you to call each one of them and tell me which one you like. I'm like, well, that's great, but that's just like a cold call to me. So let's go into selling your home, and let's move into that. We've talked about buying, we've talked about owning, and the importance of that. What about selling your home? And when you bought a home, Julie, did they give you an exit strategy when you first purchased this of when to sell? Basically, set you up on a real estate timeline, goals?
Absolutely not.
Okay, thank you for that one.
I was going to say that was short and sweet.
Yeah, I'm like, well,
very clear.
You. Okay, guys, we're done with the show. Thank you, Julie. Julie, could you elaborate a little bit?
Here's a follow-up question.
I think, first of all, we were so desperate to get into a house, and our agent had been working pretty hard trying to quickly find us a space because we were transitioning out of a 3-story townhome that we rented, where we were just trying to get into a house. And we couldn't re-rent the space that we were in because we waited too long and they had already rented it to someone else. So we were really pretty desperate. We were looking at, can we just find a place to rent? Can we find a place to buy anything? So when our agent, actually I'm the one that found this house that we are in, just scouring over the internet. And I think that's another important point to talk about, is that buyers and sellers these days are very savvy. They understand a lot more now than they did a decade ago, or even 5 years ago. And so I found this house, called my agent, said, hey, it's going live, the next morning, we want to go take a look at it. Showed up, and we were, like the 5th contract by the end of the day. We were in one of those bidding wars. My agent said to me, I've had great success in this kind of market where buyers write a letter to the seller and include personal photos or whatever you want. And I did that. And of course, the journalism major here wrote a really nice letter and included this great sob story. It was a true story though, with a photo, and we wound up winning the contract even though we were not the highest bidders. So maybe my story is not the greatest to compare to others, because he was just trying to get us into a house. We were literally going to be homeless and have to go live with parents, friends, or family or whatever until we found something. So we didn't talk about exit strategies. We didn't talk about what would be next. Please use my services in the future, although he's a dear friend, and I probably would anyway, just for all the help and the bending over backward and in the close-knit family that we have. But we just didn't go into any of that. So anything that I've learned in the last 5 years, aside from the realtor who helped me on our current house, has been all on my own. Okay. In terms of selling or investing in the future.
Sure. So one of the things that I think brings up a really strong point here, and Lyndon, like your feedback, not just a one answer answer.
I don't give one-word answers.
I realize that. Julie, you typically don't. So, by the way, just kind of a funny segue, rabbit trail here. Julie, whenever I've invited Julie to help teach in some of my seminars, if I ever give her the mic, that journalism comes out, and her 3-minute infomercial or 5-minute spiel turns into a 35-minute lecture, and she's fantastic, and she loves to talk. So I was completely thrown with nope.
I said absolutely not.
Nope,
You two
absolutely not. It was a 2-word, but still, it was so short and sweet, and I didn't even know what to do with that. So you threw me a curveball on that one, and thank God I could rebound pretty quick. But you mentioned something, Julie, which is really important. You didn't have time to prepare. You were in this oh my gosh frenzy. How many people are going into this deal that they are scared to be homeless, therefore they get into the house and they think that is the answer, when if they would have spent the last 60, 90, 120 days preparing in advance, would their situation have changed? May or may not. But I am all about preparation. So when we're looking at a buyer, have you considered buying in the next year? Then 12 months out, here are the things that you should be doing. 9 to 12 months, here are the things that you need to be doing now. Here's 6 to 9 months. Here's 3 to 6 months, and then 0 to 3, we're finding you a house. But you've looked at the entrance to the journey. You've looked at the exit strategy. You look 10 years down the road. You basically began to formulate a plan that will take you to the course that real estate is supposed to give you. It's supposed to give you that legacy. It's supposed to give you the future. It's supposed to help you build wealth and generate income. And it can, if Lyndon, what are your thoughts on that?
I agree 100%. And I think Julie's 2-word answer was just how impactful that was, that circumstance was. I mean, absolutely not. It really, I mean, what else do you say? But
Goodbye,
Brian, you're right.
Week.
You're right. I mean, I've been around the real estate industry. I'm not a realtor. I was in mortgage. I was in credit repair. And credit repair was kind of funny because people would call me up and they'd say, "Hey, I need my credit fixed." What's today? The 27th. Okay. So Brian finds a buyer and they've got some credit challenges and they call me up and, okay, so you need to get your credit fixed. We need to get you about 20, 30 points. When do you want to move? November 1st. That's 4 days. I can't do it in 4 days. And everybody knows that the people that are in the most desperate mode get the worst deals. They always do, because we take what's available rather than what we really, really want. And I think that it's in redefining real estate. That's going to be the biggest challenge, is to help people understand how to plan ahead, because none of us do. Honestly, we say we do, we say we want to, but we really don't. Julie walked out to go to somewhere yesterday with a purse and she couldn't get out because the gate was shut. She didn't plan ahead. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, Julie.
Run your purse over and scaled the fence.
Absolutely.
Just Uber when he was here.
So I think that, and it is hard. It's very, very hard to get people to understand, because sometimes we're not thinking about buying a home. We're thinking about renting until we can't rent anymore, until somebody decides to sell the house that we've been renting. And so we're not prepared. So I think that's going to be the biggest challenge in the real estate industry, but maybe for the first time home buyers. But I think after that, Brian, as you move through this market and you start, that's your plan from the get-go. The buyers, you're going to have a 5-year, 10-year, 15-year, 30-year plan for them, or you're going to help, not necessarily for them, but you're going to help identify one with them. And I think that's going to help them move up and build that equity that we've been talking about. because again, if no one knows who Brian Dobbs is until they decide to buy their first house, they really didn't get prepared yet, right?
Right.
So hopefully doing shows like this helps more people understand who you are and what you're doing, and the team that you have around you.
Absolutely. So the preparation is really, it takes real estate from being a reactive industry that we're waiting for someone to move in, move out, move up, move down for whatever reason that life gives them, to a proactive state on, this is what I plan to do. This is how I plan to move my equity. This is how I plan on raising my family and leaving a legacy, or producing down the road. So there's a lot of strategy when it comes to selling and owning and buying that will save you time. It will save you money and make you money, and it will make this journey a lot more pleasant. Is it work? Absolutely. Is there a lot of preparation that goes into it? Absolutely. But it's Julie, it's people like you, Lyndon, it's people like you, that when we all get together and we can help and not just see it from Brian's eyes, but see it from our group's eyes, tell you, it really makes the process and the journey much more pleasant, because you're doing it as a team. Buying real estate does not have to be a one-player game. It just doesn't, because there are multiple industries that are affected. I counted 67, and I know that that's not an exhaustive list of industries that affect one transaction when you're buying a home.
Wow.
67.
There's even more than that.
Yeah.
More people that touch it and look at it and have to handle it or do some portion of it. Yeah, it's in the hundreds.
Yeah, it's crazy. And just because I got tired of writing down, I just stopped at 67.
You got tired of preparing?
No, I got tired of writing down. I'm like, God, 67, that looks like a pretty good number to me. But you can get into the hundreds. If you go into a deep dive, you can get, the list just keeps on going. I mean, you're talking about the person that answered the phone for the electrician. You're talking about the person that fixed the tires on the truck of the plumber. I mean, real estate is a fascinating industry, and it affects so many different people, so many different lives. I really believe that the more prepared we become, the greater impact that we have socially as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So, Julie, can people get a home warranty on their existing property?
Yes, absolutely. So oftentimes, so you would be considered an existing homeowner instead of going through a new buyer real estate transaction. So the cost is a little bit different as an existing homeowner than it is on a new real estate transaction, because on a new real estate transaction, you just went through the inspection process. You got all the necessary repairs done. You're lower risk because you're in your first year. Everything is, supposedly in good working order. However, when you're an existing homeowner, the pricing is a little different because you're higher risk. It's not by a lot, but a little. So anybody can add it to their house at any time. Various home warranty companies have waiting periods for existing homeowners. And this is to prevent fraud from people saying, hey, all of a sudden my dishwasher doesn't work this morning. I think I'll put a home warranty, on our house and then make a claim. So that's the purpose of the waiting period. So for Super, it's 2 weeks for homeowners or existing homeowners. For the industry by and large, I believe it's 30 days. But anybody can do it.
Okay. So, that might be something that if you're listening, you might want to add to your house, a home warranty. And I would really encourage you to contact Julie, check out Super Home Warranty, fabulous company. I like them. I actually recommend them to my clients as well. So check them out. If you have an existing home, and you'd like to get a home warranty, if you've never thought about it, I definitely would recommend you contacting Julie and seeing if that's going to be a good fit for you and your family to do that. One of the things I definitely want to leave you guys with is to be proactive. Take a different approach to your real estate, whether you're buying, whether you're selling, whether you're owning. So you fit in one of those three categories, and I really think that if you would write down a plan of the next 3, 5, 10 years, where do you plan on being? How would you like your cash flow to look when purchasing real estate or owning real estate or even selling real estate? Because it impacts you in so many different areas. It impacts you socially. It impacts the economic model. If you buy and sell right, it impacts highest to best use. What are you supposed to use your property for? So I would encourage you to get with someone to help you write down your real estate goals. I would encourage you, if you don't have that person, check us out, check our seminars out, and sign up for the next seminar to come. That the seminars are free. We introduce you to a network of professionals that will help you in the buying, the selling, and the owning process, from property managers to you'll meet Julie, and you'll meet inspectors, and you'll meet we have appraisers, we have CPAs, financial planners, we have everybody, because it's about wealth and real estate, and it's really about impacting our society and our community, making better communities, better neighborhoods, and strengthening family units. So, Lyndon, do you have any closing remarks?
I don't. I think I'm all good.
You are good. That's unlike you. That's awesome. And we usually have a lot to talk about. We talk for hours. Julie, thank you so much for being on our show. Do you have anything that you would like to say?
We talked about so many good things here today, and I think your point in seeing real estate as an investing opportunity, especially being an educated buyer and an educated seller, I think your seminars are fantastic. I hope somehow we're going to figure out in here, with the brilliancy of Lyndon, how people can find out about those seminars. And then, once you own that home, put a warranty on that house, so that really it should be a different word other than warranty. It really should be like more of a residential service that you place on your house to help you with repairs when you have breakdowns and you need maintenance. So that's another thing about Super, is we help you maintain your home as well. We're not just a home warranty company, but we have concierge services that help you do gutter cleaning or something else that warranty companies don't tend to cover. And then we help you take care of that house right here with maintenance services, such as fertilizing your lawn and doing weed control and carpet cleaning and window washing. So we have a myriad of different services. And I think that's important. It just sets you up. It gives you the confidence and the peace of mind that you need when you're selling one house, purchasing another one, and purchasing another one. And you've got some additional help there that can save you money. So all great points to talk about today. Thank you, Brian, so much for having me, and Lyndon for helping host the show, and your contribution and your feedback. All these were just fantastic insights.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Julie. We appreciate you being on with us today. And guys, I don't want to fail to mention our sponsor, and the reason that we can have Redefining Real Estate, the show, is due to our sponsorships. And Bavette Grill on 8100 North Dallas Parkway, Suite 115 in Plano, Texas. If you have not been there, I would strongly recommend and encourage you to visit them. They have great food, great atmosphere. The service was off the chart. We love the staff there. They've made us feel like family and home. And if you mention that you have heard Bavette Grill on The Difference or Redefining Real Estate, they actually will give you a free appetizer. So they're open for lunch and dinner. Again, make your reservations. Go visit them today. Tell them that you heard about them, about Bavette Grill on Redefining Real Estate, and get your free appetizer and enjoy that, and enjoy a great food selection there. So again, thank you for joining us today. We want to always bring relevant and pertinent information on buying, selling, and owning real estate, because it's about you. It's about your strengthening families, building stronger and better communities and stronger and better neighborhoods. Thank you again for joining us today on Redefining Real Estate. If you have any questions or comments, please ask them in our Facebook page, and we look forward to seeing you next week at 11 o'clock on Tuesday. Thank you.
The Difference is a proud supporter of the following nonprofits. Creek and Timber Legacy, providing outdoor learning, hunting, and firearm therapy for veterans, first responders, and children with serious illness. You can find more info at creekandtimberlegacy.org. And Sharp Shoes. Through local schools and shelters, Sharp Shoes helps provide new shoes for countless needy people and their families. You can find more info at sharpshoes.org.